When you open Flash, you get a choice of different document types to open: templates, projects, simple files, and so on. At the moment we just want a new file. The white area here is known as the stage, and this is the area on which you construct your animations ready to be transferred to website. The grey area is known as a workspace, useful sometimes for moving things onto before putting them on the stage. Now the best way to find out is to play around with all the various screens, but the property inspector here at the bottom is the most important one. Whatever you have selected, the property inspector will allow you to make changes. You can see here, as we've got the stage selected, it would allow us to make changes to the size of the stage, the whether or not we want our units on the rulers in centimeters or pixels. Best to leave it at pixels, this stage, for web purposes, and so on. It would allow us to change the background color, probably. There we go. Change it back to white. So whatever is selected with the selection tool, the top left hand side of the toolbar there, it will appear in Property Inspector and you can make changes to it. Now here is the toolbar over on the left hand side, and there's separate tutorials on all of these various elements of the toolbar. If we just take one, for instance, that's a fairly obvious one. We're going to draw a rectangular object. Again, we can demonstrate that because this is highlighted, the Property Inspector at the bottom will immediately show that that's what you're working on and allow you to make certain changes to it. Change that to green, for instance. Whatever is highlighted, Property Inspector lets you make changes. We're back to the canvas there, or the stage, and we could make changes to that if we wished. Now, you can change the zoom size here by going to the top right and selecting whatever size you want to look at that at: 100, 200, 25%, 50, or so on. And there are other ways to change the size to work on as well. If you move over here to the zoom key, when you click on it, then a plus and a minus sign appears at the bottom. Plus is selected at the moment. Each time you click on the stage, it will increase its size, and double clicking back on the tool will take it back to 100%. Same if you'd had minus selected. Each time you click it would go down, and double click to bring it back. You can also use the Control and plus key, and it will increase, and the Control and minus key will decrease. Now, the drop down menus are as in most of the programs. There's lots of options on there which we'll be looking at later. And over on the right here, let's just get back to the normal size. Over on the right here there are some panels. Again, these are ways of making various changes. You can show some more panels here by going to Windows and further panels, or more panels, but it's best not to get it too complicated at the moment. Clicking on little arrows, black arrows on the panels, will expand them. Here's your color panel, and from that you can make various changes to color fill and so on. See down the bottom here there are some nice little effects we could choose, and once we've done that one, selected that one, you'll see it's changed over here in the fill color on the tool panel. We could apply that here by clicking on the fill, selecting that again. There we go. So that's a fairly whistle-stop tour, but again, the best thing to do is to play around, and the more you get used to Flash, the more these things will become obvious. Another feature of Flash, of course, perhaps the most important, is the timeline. When you create animations, they're done frame by frame and in different layers. There isn't one on here at the moment, so there's nothing. When there is an animation on there, then the red arrowhead there you could drag through to show your animation, and you can change the frames per second and so on. We'll look at that later. Best thing to do is to have a good play around, feel comfortable. You can't do anything wrong. Again, you can close panels, open panels, and